Right. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to another podcast. Today we're talking about football. Been a while since we've been able to play football. How are we doing, boys? I know it's our second attempt, so
Doing good, yeah. Doing good.
had some technical difficulties, but yeah. I mean, off you go, Al. I know you were mid discussion, so
Oh, so Sancho. Oh, I was just saying about
about Man United.
Newcastle. That,
About the Man United transfers and Newcastle. Yeah.
yeah, so just had a bit of a. I'm a bit confused. Did the recording pick up the earlier bits we talk about
No,
United?
I don't think so.
Oh, right. So we're starting
Yeah.
again.
Is that
Um,
okay?
yeah, it's fine.
Okay, sweet.
So we
I'll cut
started
this bit
with
out.
Sancho being supposedly done and dusted. Like so many sources are saying that
Yeah.
that's a done deal. Personal
Right.
terms agreed.
Yeah.
Respective agents been spotted in London and Paris. Um, Bellingham from Birmingham City has been signed. But that is, and then we mentioned about this morning that Ed Woodward has come out and said that actually, due to the sort of financial costs
Of
and
the
the
coronavirus. Yeah.
interruptions in the negotiation with COVID, that United might not be able to get any of the big signings this summer.
That's a
Um,
shame. So what
but
do
that's
we
only from
think?
one.
Yeah. It's only from one source.
Then it's only from one source, and
Yeah.
so we'll see over the next few days if anybody else sort of corroborates that. But
What do we think about all the stuff? Because I think with Spurs came out first and furloughed all their staff.
yeah,
And in the wake
that,
of this, football players have been told to take some kind of pay cut.
take pay cuts. Yeah,
What do we what's our opinions?
I think that football clubs, Championship and below, fair enough. I think the financial stability of those clubs is just a different
It's a different
kettle of fish
ballpark,
to
yeah.
the Premier League clubs. I feel like every Premier League club should be able to afford to not put their staff on furlough.
Yeah, because
Like there's just no real excuse, to be honest.
yeah, I mean, I
Some
get the. I feel like football players are in a way being made scapegoats
Yeah, well,
because
the health secretary came out just randomly in a speech and suddenly started having a go at footballers just out of the
oh
blue.
really? I
Yeah,
mean,
it was
it's a
a few
hard
months
one
ago.
because I'd say that before staff should be furloughed, football players should take a pay cut. That should that should be the order of things. But at the same time, even if football players are taking pay cuts, you don't know that the money that they are taking pay cuts for is actually doing anything to help the NHS, to help this in regard. All it could be helping is just that these billionaire businessmen, which doesn't really
Yeah.
like
Where's the money that would be going to those footballers then going?
exactly.
I mean,
It doesn't
if they're
achieve
doing
anything.
like a 5% pay cut and then that 5% goes directly to the NHS
Yeah, then
or
I
I mean personally
completely
I think I agree with you, El, that these Premier League clubs shouldn't be furloughing their staff because they really don't need to.
Mhm.
I would go a step further. I think that these clubs should really be supporting the clubs in the lower leagues because for those clubs, it's the revenue they get from match day is so important to keeping them alive. And the fact that
Yeah,
they now don't know when that money's going to, because they don't have, like the international uh,
yeah
sponsorships
recognition.
and,
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff, commercial
exactly.
deals.
Yeah,
well,
definitely.
So
especially
without
non-league
that money
clubs.
coming in, and also not knowing as a business, when are we going to be getting that money coming in? Because
Yeah,
no one knows how long this is going to go on for. A
yeah.
lot of those clubs are going to be in real difficulties. I mean, we already saw with Bury and Bolton, and that's before
Mhm,
any of this stuff started.
mhm.
A lot of these clubs are already in precarious positions. So
Yeah,
I really think the Premier League teams, with all their wealth and their TV money, should be contributing to some kind of fund to keep those lower league clubs alive.
Hmm.
Because otherwise
Yeah,
it is going to
absolutely.
be a real mess.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
remember the days when Blackburn, Bolton, and Burnley were all in the Prem together, and they all pitched in to bail out Accrington Stanley. I think it was 2009, 2010. Accrington Stanley were basically going to go under.
Well, didn't a
And
similar thing happen with, I guess, Bury as another start? That was in 2019, or
Be-
was that the start of this
Bury
year?
did go under.
They did go under,
But,
but apparently it was
yeah.
like a ridiculously low fee that was needed to like,
Ah,
because there were rumors going around that the owner of the club who bought them for like £1.
okay.
Yeah,
Um,
it's quite common with businesses that are going to go that are essentially insolvent.
yeah.
Um, like somebody agrees to buy them for £1, but when they're buying them for £1, they're buying not just the value of the business, they're also buying
Hmm.
all the kind of debts that that business owes,
Yeah.
which is obviously like a
Okay.
negative amount, if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
yeah.
So it's not as like, oh, I've just got a free football club. Then you actually
It's
have
like
to
you have to pay the
deal.
debt. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly,
I
exactly.
see. I see. I
Um,
see.
but yeah,
I mean,
we're
going
gonna
back
get.
to the. Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say we're gonna get a lot more kind of situations like that. If some, I mean, it doesn't have to be the Premier League clubs pitching, but somebody has to do something. Maybe a government scheme. I don't know, but otherwise there will be, and also like was pointed out with Bury when they went under. These clubs are really important to their local communities.
Mhm.
Um, they're not just a football team. So I do
Well, the
think
thing is,
something
like, yeah.
has to be done. Some kind of money, some kind of fund has to be put together by someone. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I do agree. Just going back to the original point, that yeah, for the Premier League teams furthering their staff is a bit ridiculous.
I did see an
Especially Liverpool.
article. Yeah, Liverpool. The clubs like Liverpool, Spurs, like the bigger clubs who have like a national presence and or an international
Arsenal,
presence.
I saw
Sorry,
that the players have taken a pay cut, but three refused.
I know. Yeah,
Apparently one of them was Mesut Ozil, who's
yeah.
on
I
300k
saw
a week.
I saw that. I mean, it's hard because he's basically just provided the argument that I provided before. It's like he doesn't know where his money's going. You know, which is like.
I don't know how strong an argument that is because Arsenal have said that the pay cuts will obviously first of all go to prop up Arsenal.
Mhm.
But there was that huge Premier League campaign where the footballers were given to taking pay cuts, and some of the money was going to the like NHS charities.
Okay, that's
It was
fair
going to the
enough.
communities, to food banks and stuff. So
I
for
mean,
Mesut
like
Ozil to say that, I don't know if it's a bit of a
yeah.
lazy excuse.
To be fair to
Um,
the
if
for in Arsenal's perspective, like
mhm,
I mean, in a way, Premier League clubs could just be taking this like for their advantage in a way, just to generally just like reduce their wage bills because it seems
Mhm.
for Arsenal they've come up with the conditions that if I think it was proposed like a 15% pay cut, then if
mhm,
they got Europa League it would be set at 7.5%, and then if
mhm.
they got Champions League they'd all be reimbursed. So
Oh,
like
right,
they
okay,
wouldn't have any kind of pay cut. And I
yeah,
mean, to be fair, with the way it's going to be interesting because if football does come back as people have been suggesting with a kind of like football festival and everything gets
yeah,
televised, all of a
yeah,
sudden clubs go from sort of not a great financial situation to every game being televised. They're getting even more money from Sky, even more money from BT, and then because that's where the main source of income comes from, it's from all the like all the TV outlets.
mhm,
So if every game is now televised, they're going to get a load more money.
yeah,
So it's going to be interesting when it comes back and that does happen.
yeah. I don't
I'm
know.
obviously
Arsenal's just such a weird club,
sorry.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's
I just don't
they're always
understand
getting into stuff
how
like
that club
this.
works sometimes. They're always just getting stuff wrong, and
Just getting stuff around.
I just think, oh, just gonna, I don't know. I don't know.
Let it out. Let it
Uh,
all out.
it, I don't know. It's just when like the other clubs just,
Mm.
to be fair, United, City, and was it Wolves? Just went straight
Mm.
ahead and said we're not going to furlough any of our staff. Players are
Oh, really?
taking a pay cut.
that's fair enough.
Actually, I don't know if United players did take a pay cut. I think the club said we'll just cover everything and
Right.
give to the local Manchester charities as well.
That's fair enough. I think United are the wealthiest. I know City are
Yeah,
probably the
United are a bit of an
wealthiest.
exception, aren't they?
Like United are one of the wealthiest clubs in the league.
Yeah.
What do you think about the fact that Newcastle stand to become the second or third wealthiest club in the league with the proposed takeover?
It's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Mm.
I mean, Newcastle's proposed transfer budget for the next sort of 2 transfer windows goes from 60 million to 300 million.
Jesus.
In one of the reports I was reading.
That is an insane amount of money. But to
I
be
don't
fair,
know how I don't know how that fit. Oh, sorry, what are you saying?
I was going to say, to be fair, we've seen clubs like Fulham, who came up a few years ago. They went and spent 200 million on just a brand new team and couldn't even stay in the league. So it's something that you can't just buy a team. It's sort of got to come incrementally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
City did it though, didn't they?
Yeah, City are an example where it worked, but it didn't work immediately. You know, at
Yeah,
first they
that's true.
got it was Mark Hughes, wasn't it? They got Mark Hughes in,
Yeah.
and they signed like Alano, Joe.
So they got like Jacko as well.
Fabinho.
Yeah.
Did they see Joe then?
I don't know. They might have gone later.
When did they get the Torres in?
I think they might have, yeah.
Because Yaya Toure was there from quite early on, wasn't it? From the takeover.
Yeah, it didn't immediately click, and it is one of those
No.
things where you kind of need to build a culture of winning games and challenge
Definitely.
before you can go straight.
And that they almost got like
Champions League.
they got a bit lucky in a sense, because I guess signing someone like Aguero, who's as good as he is, he's one of them players that they didn't. I think they got him from Atletico. They spend like a good amount of money on him, but the fact that he was so good meant that it attracted all these other players as well to be able to, I guess, get them to the stage where they are today. I don't think Newcastle will quite go down that route. But I mean, one of the proposed signings, as you said, it was Felipe Coutinho, which have been I found that very funny.
Apparently, it was only going to be a 1-year loan deal. It wasn't to buy. But yeah,
I mean, still from Liverpool, pushing a move away from Liverpool to get to Barcelona to come back to the Premier League for Newcastle. That's
But maybe that could work for him. You know, expose himself to the Premier League clubs for a year, and then get signed by one of the big ones in a year's time.
Yeah, if I was a Newcastle fan, I'd be wanting that move to happen for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
But that is the thing though with players like Coutinho, and I'm sure you've all seen like people joking about Mbappe to Newcastle and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Those players are not going to want to join Newcastle just because they're rich and just because they're
No,
going to get
yeah,
loads
exactly.
of money. The majority of players, I'm sure that there is a minority. It's just like, if you're going to pay me big wages, then sure, I'll do it. But the majority of players, they want to move to a club where it's a reputable club where they're gonna win games. They're going to be
exactly.
on the world stage. They don't want to just go to some because it is an experiment. It's going to be an experiment for the first few years.
Well, that's one of the things that
slowly working those players in to the point where Newcastle become a big club again. They become a Champions League club, and once you get to that point, it'll be much easier to sign top players.
Or once you're at least becoming like a project, like I feel like Wolves are a lot more an attractive club right now because they're pushing the boundaries of sort of like going towards. They're sort of like what Everton were, almost becoming sort of like an Everton of the league, where you're not a Champions League club, you're not even really a Europa League club, but every season you're putting like a good fight up for it.
I feel like Leicester are doing a good job of that at the moment as well.
I mean, Leicester are sort of becoming they're most likely, if the season finishes, going to get Champions League, and they're becoming a sort of
crazy for them.
A European club in a way.
Yeah.
Because they won the season, then I don't think they haven't seen Europe since. But then this season, obviously, they're looking like they will end up seeing Europe if we do continue. But yeah, boys, so we should move on to our Cara's 11. I know. It's taken me some time. I'm praying that none of these players cross paths.
Yeah,
I
it
did.
took me like 2 days. I think I've done like there's like been like 20 different iterations of this team.
Yeah, exactly. Well, because
I've
I
probably used about 100 different players.
I
But
created one, and then I'm thinking, do I? Oh, I could get him. Oh, I could get him there. Then when you create one, you realise, I've missed a team out. Then you try and fit that team in, but as soon as you fit that team in, you realise, that means that I can't use. It took a while. So what formation have you gone for on yours, boys?
I just did 4-4. Oh no, I did 4-3-3.
Mm-hmm. What did
yeah,
you go
I've
for?
done a 4-3-3 slash
And a 4-3-3.
4-2-3. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done like a 4-2-3 one. I just wanted the more attackers. So should we go start with the attacking players?
Yeah, sure. Do you want to go first?
So I've gone for a front four. So in the front four, leading the line is the Premier League all-time top goal scorer, Alan Shearer.
Nice,
Thought
nice.
I'd go a bit different. On the right side, we've got Messi. I don't think I've seen a team that hasn't had Messi in it.
He's quite an easy pick, to be fair, isn't he?
Well,
Argentinian, only Barcelona.
Yeah,
Like,
literally.
He's quite easy to get in.
Because he didn't even play. He literally came up through the youth at Barcelona, didn't he? So he didn't even have like a club before that. It was literally just one club, one nationality.
I think he played for the River Plate in Argentina for a bit before Barcelona got him. But nobody else played for the River Plate.
For these, I remember you were talking to Aaron before about these like players who played in like the under-20s together.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna. I think I'm gonna make the rule as professional clubs. Not like you played, not like you've kicked a ball around in the park together, so you can't. In central attacking midfield, I've got De Bruyne, and left attacking midfield, I've gone with Mbappe.
Very good.
Did you say?
Mbappe.
Oh, okay.
What have you gone for?
My front three: Messi down the left, Mbappe on the right, and Didier Drogba through the centre.
Messi, Mbappe, and
That's very nice.
Ooh.
That's very nice.
What are we saying, Cal?
What about you?
I've gone again Messi on the right. I've gone with Aubameyang through the middle.
Oh, Aubameyang, that's good.
Just because it's
Gabon,
nice to get those niche nationality players in there. Gabon, obviously, not a lot of great talents have come from Gabon.
I guess Arsenal and Dortmund aren't two clubs that I'd be particularly sad of getting rid of either.
No, it's not a huge loss. And then Heung-min Son on the left.
Oh, Sonny boy.
Son's a big pick, to be fair.
Korean and Spurs, yeah. Right, El, what about your midfield? Three in the midfield.
So 3 in midfield. I went for Giggs.
Giggsy.
On the left wing.
Yeah.
Gerrard in the middle, and then Bergkamp on the other wing.
That's a very attacking midfield. You got was Bergkamp like a striker?
He could play on the wing.
He did a mixture.
Okay, fair enough.
And then it's the older Gerrard, so he's playing a bit deeper.
Yeah, a bit deeper. So you've got like a 4-1-5.
Yeah.
But you, Cal, midfield.
My midfield is a little bit niche. So I've gone with Hamsik.
Hamsik. Ooh.
Yeah.
That is very. I've not seen that.
Fernandinho holding, and then Kante in kind of the box-to-box role.
I do, yeah. I really wanted Kante, but I couldn't not have Mbappe.
Kante's hard because he's French.
Yeah, there are so many good French players.
Good French players. Yeah.
That it's like, who do I pick?
Yeah. I was dabbling with Thierry Henry at the start, but I had to choose Mbappe over him. It was a close one though. Close one to call that one.
Yeah, so I've gone with Roy Keane.
Oh, huge.
And
big presence.
Modric.
Oh.
Nice.
Just the two?
Yeah, just the two. Well, it's sort of 2 holding midfielders, and I've got the 3 like attacking midfielders and the striker. But yeah, I thought, Modric and Roy Keane, bouncing the ball off each other. Modric is the more he's a bit quieter, laid back. Roy Keane demanding the boys around, but then Modric will it'll just give him the eye, just like calm down, boss. It's like I'm the baller here. What about
Sorry,
Modric-
who was your front three again? Messi, Mbappe, and
Drogba.
Drogba. That's it.
To be fair, Jabber, in your team, who's the last player you said, sorry?
Modric and Roy Keane.
Oh yeah, Modric and De Bruyne in the same team would be a madness.
Yeah, like nice bit of playmaking there. I could have gone. Well, I was basically picking between sort of a Real Madrid holding midfielder. I was sort of going through, and I was just like, Modric is. I feel like he's quite an underrated player actually as well.
Yeah.
Like the guy,
I nearly. Oh, sorry.
he won the Ballon d'Or the other year, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Was it
Yeah.
him? Yeah, he won the Ballon
He was
d'Or.
definitely up there anyway.
I think it was the year that Croatia got to the final in the World Cup. He won the Ballon d'Or. So.
I nearly put Ndidi in there, but
I feel like Ndidi is just not quite the kind of that tier, if you know what I mean.
It's just the effect he has on the Leicester team. Like Leicester are just so much better with Ndidi in their midfield.
No, I agree. I agree with that. But I wouldn't put him up there with.
There was that spell
Kante.
that Leicester had without him, wasn't there? And they just flopped. But then as soon as Ndidi came back, they started getting the results.
I mean, to be fair, maybe it's because it's Leicester that I'm saying that. If he was playing, let's say, I don't know, Man United, Man City, and he was doing the same thing, then maybe you'd hold him in the same kind of regard.
Yeah.
But
I mean, he's only, just looking at him now, he's only 23, so he's got.
Is he?
He's got time to get into
I
the
thought
big
it was a
clubs.
lot older than that.
Yeah, same.
I would have put him around that sort of 26. He looks a bit older than that. Fair play to him. He's got a lot big future ahead of him. So, defence, boys. What are we saying?
Do you want to go first on this one, Cal?
So my defence, I've gone with Sergio Ramos, Nemanja Vidic,
Nice.
Virgil van Dijk, and Philip Lahm.
Jeez, that's a hell of a defence.
That's huge to get those two in together.
Jeez, I can't beat that defence. I cannot beat that defence. That's a solid.
Those are four excellent players.
I would, yeah.
So who was the last one? It was
didn't play for Liverpool. I would have loved to have seen Van Dijk and Vidic together.
Was it Vidic, Van Dijk, Lahm, and who was the last one? Ramos as well. Jesus.
Yeah, I think you're smashing this. To be fair, Cal.
What about you?
My midfield's a bit weak, but hopefully just the fact that you've got Fernandinho and Kante in. I like to imagine how they'd actually play as a team. I'd like
Fernandinho is one of them very, very good. Fernandinho is a very good player. Kante is an incredible player. Hamsik, I haven't seen enough of Hamsik to really judge.
That was just the fact I needed to find someone.
Yeah.
And I just thought, niche nationality, he can do a job. Just move the ball around a bit.
Do you have any English players?
I do not actually, no. For a while, I had Ashley Cole in my team.
Ashley Cole, I forgot about Ashley
Cole. And I think Ferdinand was in my team at one point, but
Ferdinand,
in the end, no English players.
Could have got a Wayne Rooney in there.
I really tried to get Rooney in, but
big Waz.
It was hard.
What about you, Al? The defence. What are we saying?
So I've got Koulibaly.
Oh.
I've got Company.
Very
I've got
nice.
Lahm, and I've got Maldini.
That's lovely.
Maldini. Oh, Maldini. I saw that Maldini pick, and I was like, that's very Maldini, a left back, I'm guessing. Because he did play there for a sprint in his career. But similar in a sense, I'm going Robertson at left back. A bit of Scottish power. Chiellini, Koulibaly, and Lahm.
Yeah, quite similar.
But I feel like you've got to have Lahm in there.
Yeah. And then for keeper, I assume everyone's gone Oblak.
I've not.
Have you not?
No.
Oh.
I haven't. I saw him in a lot of people's teams, but I feel like I
Yeah.
haven't seen him play enough for me to be able to like give him my stamp of approval. If that
Yeah, I
makes
feel.
sense. Yeah.
The only time I've really seen him play is when actually Liverpool recently got knocked out of the Champions League, and he looked class then. So
Yeah, that's what I was basically.
I could give him that. But I went with I actually really wanted. I went with Petr Cech. I wanted to
Oh,
try and get him.
that's
I wanted to try and get him
decent.
in.
Nice. That's a nice pick.
What about you, Cal?
Although James, I've got some bad news.
Never. Don't do this to me.
De Bruyne played for Chelsea for a bit.
Oh, he did, didn't he?
Oh, he did.
Oh, he did,
Oh,
didn't he?
Jabba.
Oh no. Oh, spanner in the works. All right. Gonna have to remove that. That's gonna have to go to our black then.
Just throw him in there. He can do
Just
it.
love him in there.
Do you have any English players, Jobs?
I've got Shearer at the top.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
But to be fair, that I could have.
Henderson or
That leaves.
Pope in.
I had John Obi Mikel in my team for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But then I was like, oh, I'll go for Petr Cech, get Modric and Keane. But then, guess I could got Arsenal and Chelsea, which are two quite big clubs to leave out. So I was debating Dennis Bergkamp. But then that's the thing, when I was looking through, like, I'd look up a player like Essien, and I didn't realise that he'd had like a stint at Real Madrid for like a year.
Yeah.
All right.
So like that was like him out of the picture. It's like all these players, you think, oh, I can get them in, and then you look them up, and it's just like,
Yeah, there's always like a surprising like, oh, they did like a year or two at this club, and it's like, oh, I never knew that.
yeah. Because I was looking at, because obviously PSG has been like such a big club, but then you think about all the big players that have played there, and sort of, I guess, Mbappe being French, that's a hard one. Cavani is probably one of the only ones who's actually sort of would be easy to fit in, because players like Neymar, Ibrahimovic, like Ibrahimovic has been to so many clubs.
Yeah, I wanted to get Ibrahimovic in, but he's literally, it would wipe out
It's like Milan,
Messi,
yeah,
Ronaldo.
Barcelona, yeah.
Yeah, you got Inter, Juve.
Yeah, exactly.
United.
Like so many places. So
Yeah, he's been all over the place.
He's been successful at every
Literally.
single one as well. That's what's
Yeah,
such a
true.
badness about that guy.
How old is he now? Is he like, he's late 30s, surely?
36,
36.
I think.
Mm.
Or 37.
There was talk of him coming back to United at one point. Imagine that.
Yeah, we were going to loan him this Christmas.
Imagine that he joins the club at like supposedly the end of his career, leaves, and then comes back.
He'd have been good, to be fair, I think.
I mean, he's a quality player. He's just one of them sort of like, he's just like a technically gifted Fellaini. Because Fellaini was always that guy who just. The thing is, he was so effective.
He was a great signing by Moyes.
You'd lob him on like in the 80th minute, and then he'd just, lob him up top, chest the ball down, goal, head it in, goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm praying that football will be back sometime soon.
Yeah. I don't think I mentioned my keeper. My keeper's
Oh
Buffon.
yeah. Oh,
Buffon.
Luigi. Because
I think you win the team, Callum, to be honest. That's
No,
Have you-
I don't know. I think.
Have you got any players
think-
from PSG? Like other ones?
No, I don't.
Ah.
As far as I know.
Because he's been rotating between Juve and PSG, hasn't he?
Yeah, he went to PSG for like a season, and now he's come back. So.
Hasn't he gone back to PSG now as well? Or is he?
I don't think so.
Because
At Juve.
I think he rotated in like the wrong seasons, if you get me. So like when he went to PSG, Juve beat PSG, and then he came back, and then PSG beat Juve. But no, it was tight. So wait, should we just quickly run through every single player?
Yeah, go on.
So what was yours, El? Just so I've got them all on my head.
Let me just get it up again. So front three: Messi, Drogba, and Mbappe.
Yeah.
Three in midfield: Giggs, Gerrard, Bergkamp. Four in defence: Koulibaly, Company, Lahm, and Maldini.
Yeah.
and then Oblak in goal.
Okay, nice. Cal? Cal?
Carl, do you want to go through yours?
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
So Buffon in goal. Back four: Ramos, Vidic, Van Dijk, and Lahm. Midfield of Hamsik, Fernandinho, and Kante, and then Messi, Aubameyang, and Son up front.
Messi, Aubameyang, Son. So I was Oblak, Lahm, Koulibaly, Chiellini, Robertson, Keane, Modric, Mbappe, De Bruyne, Messi, Shearer. I feel like those are all very good teams.
I think James has a lot of like quality players. I think Elliot's team would be very exciting to watch. Like there's a lot of creativity in that team with, Bergkamp, Giggs, and Gerrard in midfield behind Messi and Mbappe.
That would be a very exciting team to watch.
Yeah, it'd be like a total football team. But yeah, no, I think those are three. It is a very difficult challenge. I think when you first hear it, you're like, oh yeah, I could do that. I could knock that out pretty quick. But it's like you were saying, James. Once one kind of domino falls,
and then you're like, yeah,
one clash. It's like, oh, okay, so now I have to change him. But if I change him, then I have to change another player.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mess, so.
Because me and Elle were discussing this before, and in my first team I put Ronaldo in there, and it was like, right, okay, I'll have Messi, Ronaldo, because I want to get Ronaldo in there, because you sort of think of this era as sort of, if you've got Messi, you've got to have Ronaldo. But then the amount of clubs that Ronaldo just completely wipes out just means that you can't have United, Madrid, or Juve. Each one of those clubs has had some incredible players.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a tough choice. But anything more you boys want to bring up about football? The upcoming.
What's the Palace sort of transfer mill? Anything at all?
As dead as it has ever been.
Dead, yeah.
The only stake of claim that Palace have at the minute is we're making a claim that we are the oldest professional football club in the world.
Oh really?
Yeah. Well, because recently Notts County got relegated, and they were previously the oldest professional club, but obviously that now they've been relegated out of the League Two. They're not a professional football club anymore. And so basically this Palace fan has gone through, he's done a bunch of research, and basically the Crystal Palace grounds where the Crystal Palace Football Club sort of came from, the team was set up and part of sort of the first FA governing body in 1861, and then they stopped playing because they were playing on Surrey cricket pitch, and Surrey didn't like them getting the cricket pitch all marked up, so they took a break of about 25 years and then came back and formed again in 1905, which is when sort of the well-known Palace sort of creation was. But we're sort of staking the claim that actually we were formed in 1861, which would make us the oldest professional football club in the world.
Wow.
Do you guys know, bit of trivia for you, the oldest football club in the world, just in general? Formed in 1857.
18 what?
57. The first ever football club was formed.
Is it Sheffield FC?
It is Sheffield FC. That's a hell of a bit of trivia knowledge.
That's huge knowledge.
That's a pub quiz one.
That was a big pub quiz one. But yeah, other than that, no Palace transfers.
Because I heard, must be pushing a month ago now, that PSG were interested in PVA.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know what happened about that.
I'd rather we keep everyone. Even though Zaha, like, if we can get the money from him, I'm at a stage where I'm just like, yeah, let him go. Because
he's had a bad season though this season.
He's not been great. Even though he got a team of the season on FIFA, which means, he must have played incredibly well.
So I don't know whether he's sort of.
But he's getting on to about.
Come out of the limelight.
Yeah, he's getting on to about 28 now, and I just feel like we need to get the money because we need to sort of become a Crystal Palace without Wilfried Zaha. Yeah. Because at the moment we are Crystal Palace, and Zaha's like the main feature.
Yeah.
Whereas
We've got a decent team. Like
we've got a good team, yeah. But I guess what people have said, it is true that having Zaha means that we're guaranteed no relegation.
Yeah.
Because he's the kind of player that he'll just, in the big games, he'll find a spin, find a pen, find a goal from out of nothing.
It's a shame that Ayew doesn't do more as well, because he scored some mad goals this season.
Oh, Ayew's, I think he's our top goal scorer this season.
Every now and again.
Yeah, I mean, he considering because we loaned him, and on his loan spell he wasn't that good. Then we bought him for like 2 mil, and that's the best value for money we've got, apart from getting Gary, apart from getting Gary Cahill for free. That was one of the best. That was a coup of the season.
That was good, to be fair. Yeah.
I mean, we're for centre backs, we're loving life. We could do with a right back, and midfield, it's just attackers and right backs we need.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, anything more you want to say?
No, I think that's it.
Thank you boys for joining me today. It's been a lovely chat.
It's been a pleasure.
Very much enjoyed myself. So yeah, feel free
See you next time.
See you next time. Yeah, cheerio.